welcome and good morning, my dear subscribers. Today we are going to focus on a rather unknown stock and a very interesting company, in my opinion. Like you will see on the screen, it's the Geo Group Incorporation, which mainly focuses on private prisons and other facilities in the US and other countries. First of all, I would like to explain why we cover this company. I think it's very interesting and a very extremely undervalued stock. And since the COVID-19 pandemic, this stock has suffered massively and is trading below book value by a lot. And furthermore, it's rather interesting to see what other companies and hedge funds are invested in this company. To give you some more insights about this, they run about 102 facilities worldwide. Like I said, mainly in the US, South Africa, and Australia. And currently they have 18,000 and a little bit more employees. So we take a look at the chart. People who are already invested in the Geo Group may be more familiar with this chart. The company had its IPO back in 1995, and since then we completed a full Elliot wave cycle. I'm going to explain the technicals here later, and firstly I want to show you something rather interesting. Most experienced investors may know this website, Whale Wisdom. It's a very efficient tool which lets you track fundamentals and how hedge funds and other funds are invested in this company. So, and down here we see funds holding Geo Group via 13F filings. And the interesting part I found here, and I originally have heard from this company because of Michael Burry. He announced some big positions in this company a while ago, but since I last checked, he reduced them by a little bit. But it really made me think when I looked at the amount of companies which are invested here. The well-known names like BlackRock, Vanguard Group, and State Street Corp. And here you can see the ownership in percent which they have in the company. And this is a very surprising thing because BlackRock holds nearly 15% of the company, Vanguard Group 11%, State Street Corp 4%, and the other hedge funds hold a significant percent of this company too. That's the interesting point, because I expected that a lot of funds would reduce their position because the stock got a very heavy beating and declined a lot. And then I was rather surprised to see that so much companies are still invested in this one. So let's check out the long-term chart. First of all, we established a complete Elliott wave cycle from here in a wave 1, in a wave 2. This correction lasted for about 4 years or a little bit more, and then we had this huge increase and topped here in right before the financial crisis of 2008 and had this wave 4, which was rather sharp, and since then we traded in a very beautiful impulse, and I believe that the original top was right here at $30. So first of all, for the experienced Elliott wave investors, yes, we breached below wave 1 high, but I have a very good reason because to count this like this, because we have a rather interesting chart pattern in play here. You can see it, I marked it in white. This was a kind of a trend channel which dominated the last 20 years and finally ended right here in September 2016. So I will delete this. I just wanted to show you guys this. Like I said, I believed that the original top of this cycle was at $30, and since then we established a wave A, B, C, an overshooting B, and since 2017 we are trading in this bearish impulse. This is very clearly an expanded flat, and since the all-time high we declined by, I will calculate this for you guys, 85%. It's really impressive. So, and I have marked the book value. Oh, that's wrong, by the way. The book value of the last quarters is at $9.30. Book value of the last Q4. So, the book, like I said, the company is trading way below book value, and this is rather a sign for a very undervalued stock. And I want to show you guys the more short-term oriented chart. Keep this here in mind. So here we are. Since I think that Michael Berry got invested in his company somewhere around here, he caused this spike, and since then we traded in this wave A, free movements B, and since then we established an impulsive C waves. For those who don't know this, C waves almost all the time expand in a 5-wave impulse. So this looked very bullish back then, but I had the suspicion that this would be only a wave C. So we topped here at $12.50, and since then we established a bearish 1-2, which pushed the price of this stock down by a lot, and I calculate this also for you guys. We are down by almost 40%. And I expect that this downtrend will last for a little bit longer and for the next weeks, and we should establish this wave 3 at the bottom of around here, and then we are going to build a wave 4 correction, and then the final wave of this correction would be a wave 5, which would push the price down here below the last low of wave 3. The blue trading zone resembles a very good levels for opening positions. Currently we aren't invested in this company, but we plan on opening positions down here. So to show you this chart again, that's the situation we are facing right now, and I think there's further downside. To explain the fundamentals for a short amount of time, here it is, earnings. And here, yes, the important thing in this company is that it manages to cut its total liabilities. And I recently read a letter from the CEO, which he explained to investors that the most important goal is right now to cut their liabilities because of the massive rate hikes from the Federal Reserve, and it's their main goal to reduce their debt as much as possible and not further expand their liabilities. The last earnings were sadly a little bit disappointing because they didn't manage to really increase their revenue, and I hope that the company will manage to do this in the next years. And most of you may know this company because it paid a really good dividend some years ago, but because of COVID they needed to cut this dividend. They paid like 20%, 11%, 9% in the last years, and because of COVID a lot of laws were passed to let go of most prisoners, to not increase the COVID-19 outbreaks in the prisons, and they had to let a lot of their customers, so to speak, go, and because of this the revenue shrank by a lot and they had to cut this dividend. So, but I expect that they will hopefully begin to pay dividends again in the year 2024 and 2025. But remember, this stock is more suited for baby boomers who focus on multiple years. And like the chart suggests, it will take many years to in order to establish another high and bullish momentum in this stock. But I think it's a rather unknown company and a real gem if you want to invest in sustainable and good long-term companies. If you have questions regarding to this, please leave them in the comments. I will answer them, and we will update the stock again if we feel the need to. See you in a few weeks, and goodbye.